Have you ever wondered why so many people walk through life blind to the wonders that surround them? They rush from one day to the next, caught in the currents of worry, doubt, and distraction, never pausing to see the hand of God in the ordinary, the mundane, the seemingly insignificant. Yet there is a voice calling, a quiet whisper that invites you to open your eyes and your heart. It says, "Look closer, see me in all things. Train your mind to recognize my presence in every moment, every circumstance, every person you encounter." Because, you see, there is a power in perception, a transformation that begins not in the world outside, but in the world within. When your mind learns to see God in everything, your life begins to shift. Suddenly, trials become lessons, obstacles become opportunities, and ordinary days become sacred encounters. It is not magic and it is not luck, it is a choice to train your mind, to refocus your spirit, to align your thoughts with a vision that pierces the veil of the ordinary and reveals the divine. Tonight, I want to take you on a journey of awakening, of seeing beyond the surface, of discovering that God is not distant or hidden. He is everywhere, in everything, waiting for you to notice. The question is, are you ready to train your mind? Are you ready to see the sacred in the everyday? Because when you do, everything changes forever. Tonight, something extraordinary is moving, something beyond the visible, something that cannot be measured by human eyes or touched by human hands. But it is real, and it is coming to your house. You may feel as though life has been quiet, ordinary, even stagnant, yet tonight the air around you is shifting, unseen currents are stirring, and a force greater than any earthly power is drawing near. In the quiet corners of your rooms, in the very spaces where you live your life, rooms you walk through every day without thought, halls where laughter and worry have passed, windows that look out upon the ordinary world, there is a presence preparing to move. And it will not come because you are perfect, or because you have earned it in the way the world measures worth, but because there is a hand that seeks to touch, to break chains, to turn sorrow into joy, to turn darkness into light, to speak to the hearts of those who dwell within these walls. Perhaps you have felt heaviness lately, burdens that seem too heavy to lift, challenges that seem too great to overcome, disappointments that have filled your mind with fear, doubts that have whispered in the quiet of the night that relief may never come. But tonight, all of that is about to encounter a force that is far beyond the limits of human understanding, a force that enters where it is least expected, a force that comes to bring healing, restoration, and a revelation that will shake the very foundation of what you have accepted as normal. Imagine, for a moment, the unseen realm, a dimension not confined to time or space, where power flows freely and unseen hands can touch the tangible world. That realm is not far from your doorstep. It is not distant in the heavens. It hovers around you even now. It seeks to enter through your doors, to hover above your beds, to fill your living spaces with a presence that cannot be ignored. And tonight, as the evening deepens and darkness settles, there is a movement that begins in whispers, perhaps in dreams, perhaps in moments of sudden clarity, a movement that awakens senses you did not know were dormant, that opens eyes that have long been blind to the workings of the unseen. You may hear no sound, yet it will be as if the air itself carries a vibration of power, a resonance that touches the soul in ways that logic cannot explain, that reason cannot contain. Children may sense it without knowing why, elders may feel it without understanding its origin, and you standing at the threshold of the ordinary and the extraordinary may sense the stirrings of something divine brushing against the edges of your life. This is not simply an event to witness from a distance, it is a participation, a calling, an invitation to open your heart to what has been quietly approaching. You may have tried to control the tides of life, to bend circumstances to your will, to rely on your own strength. But tonight reminds you that there are powers far greater than our human abilities, powers that work in ways we cannot anticipate, ways that surprise us, ways that intervene when all seems lost. There may be a moment of stillness in your home, a pause in the noise and the rush, and in that stillness, something begins to move, something that alters the ordinary patterns of life. Perhaps it is a sudden insight, a word that comes when you need it most, a turn of events that seems too perfectly timed to be random, a protection that shields when danger is near, a blessing that arrives in a form you had long forgotten to expect. And it is not only about what happens to you individually, but about what happens to the household, to every soul within these walls. There is a breaking of what has bound, a lifting of what has held down, a light entering where there has been darkness, a power releasing that which has been held captive for too long. The moment is approaching when ordinary rooms become sacred spaces, when familiar corners witness extraordinary interventions, when the mundane aspects of daily life are touched by something eternal, something sacred, something unstoppable. You may not see the hand that moves, you may not feel the force in ways that you can measure, yet every element of your environment is shifting, every room is being readied, every heart is being prepared for what is about to unfold. And it is not by chance, it is not random, it is not coincidence, it is the culmination of long seasons of waiting, long nights of persistence, long prayers whispered in secret, long hopes held even when doubt pressed in, long faith that refused to surrender to despair. All of it converges tonight in your house, not because of who you are, but because of what has been promised, because of what has been decreed, because of the unseen movement that is faithful, that is relentless, that cannot be stopped by circumstance, by fear, by disbelief, by opposition of any kind. And as you dwell within your rooms, as you walk through your hallways, as you breathe the air of your home, you will sense it, you will feel it, even if you cannot explain it, even if you cannot name it, even if it defies every logical expectation. There is a touch coming, a visitation, a stirring of forces that have long waited for this moment, that have long lingered at the edges of your awareness, that now step forward to move in ways that transform, to move in ways that redeem, to move in ways that fulfill what you may have silently hoped for, prayed for, or even doubted could ever arrive. It is happening tonight in the ordinary walls of your house, in the everyday rooms where life flows, where routine carries the hours, where worry and fatigue often dominate. And it will not come with fanfare. It will not announce itself with warning. It will come in the subtle, in the hidden, in ways that you recognize only if your heart is awake, only if your spirit is alert, only if your mind has been trained to see beyond the surface, only if your soul is ready to embrace what has long been promised but never fully realized. And in this movement, as it unfolds, you will discover truths that have remained hidden, revelations that have waited patiently for the moment to appear, miracles that have been quietly brewing behind the scenes, turning circumstances, changing trajectories, aligning outcomes that once seemed impossible, bringing light to places that have known only shadow, lifting burdens that have grown heavy over time, speaking hope into despair, restoration into brokenness, provision into lack, life into what has seemed lifeless, and power into what has felt weak, in ways that are both unmistakable and incomprehensible at the same time. The forces at work do not discriminate between what is small and what is great, between the humble and the mighty, between the ordinary and the extraordinary. They move wherever they are allowed to move. And tonight your house is the stage, your rooms are the canvas, your lives are the vessels. And the unseen presence that has been quietly preparing to act will not be denied, will not be turned away, will not leave until its purpose has been fulfilled, until your household has encountered what it has long needed, until the impossible has begun to touch the possible, until faith and destiny intersect in ways that awaken, inspire, and transform. Tonight there is a stirring of signs, a movement of divine visitation that will manifest in ways you may not expect, but will unmistakably feel. It is a night where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, where the air itself seems charged with purpose, where the very walls of your home carry a vibration that cannot be ignored. You may notice it in small ways at first, a moment of sudden clarity, a feeling of peace that rises without explanation, an unexpected joy that interrupts worry. But these are only the beginning, the first whispers of what is to come, the gentle nudges of a presence that has long been closed yet unseen, a presence that now announces itself in ways that touch every part of your household. Children may sense it before they understand it, moving with a lightness in their steps, speaking words they cannot explain, or laughing at moments that seem too small for such joy. Adults may feel it as a weight lifting, a tension easing, a long-awaited sense of relief that washes over hearts burdened by days of concern. And yet the signs are not always so easily seen. Sometimes they arrive in quiet moments, in subtle nudges, in dreams that linger in memory upon waking, in coincidences that are too precise to be mere chance. They speak a language of the unseen, of the divine, of forces at work beyond human comprehension. Tonight, these signs will move through your home like a current, invisible yet powerful, touching corners where sorrow has lingered, illuminating spaces where doubt has shadowed, breaking through areas where fear has held sway. And it is not only the signs themselves that matter, but the recognition of them. For the divine visitation often comes subtly, waiting for hearts that are awake and minds that are alert to see what others overlook, to hear what others ignore, to feel what others pass by. You may encounter messages hidden in ordinary conversations, in the timing of events, in the sudden appearance of what you need most when you need it most. These signs are confirmations that you are not alone, that your household is not abandoned, that a purpose greater than your understanding is unfolding in your midst. And as you notice them, as you attune your spirit to these manifestations, you will begin to perceive a larger pattern, a design that stretches far beyond your immediate circumstances, a tapestry woven with intention, care, and divine orchestration. The walls of your home, which have known laughter and tears, work and rest, silence and chaos, are becoming the setting for a remarkable visitation, a night that will be remembered not for its noise or grandeur, but for its subtle, profound, transformative power. You may sense a lightness, a warmth, a clarity in thought and heart, or an unexplainable reassurance that fills every room. And in those moments, the signs will point to the truth that has been long hidden from view, that your household is a vessel, your family a conduit, your home a stage for divine action, a theater in which blessings, protection, restoration, and guidance converge. And even as the night unfolds, and even as you see these signs manifest in ways that touch you deeply, it is essential to remember that they are not random. Each movement, each coincidence, each quiet whisper of joy, relief, or clarity is part of a greater plan, a precise orchestration that aligns with promises made long before the first walls of your house were built, long before the burdens and trials of your household arose, long before the moments of despair sought to overwhelm hope. The signs are the fingerprints of a presence that refuses to be ignored, the echoes of a voice that seeks to be heard, the evidence of a power that intervenes when all else fails, that moves in silence yet with authority, that touches invisibly yet with tangible effect. And as you notice these signs, as you feel their influence, as your heart awakens to their meaning, you will begin to see that your house is not just a building, not just a shelter, not just a collection of rooms and furniture, but a sacred space in which the divine is moving, visiting, and transforming. Tonight, the visitation is not limited to what you can see or touch. It reaches deeper into your relationships, your thoughts, your hopes, your fears, and the very rhythm of life within these walls. It alters trajectories that have seemed fixed. It brings clarity where confusion has ruled. It releases chains that have long bound hearts and minds. And it injects life where there has been stagnation. And as these signs multiply, as they layer upon one another, as they weave a story that your household will remember, you will realize that what is happening is not coincidence. It is not chance. It is not the random unfolding of events. It is a divine visitation, meticulously timed, perfectly aligned, and precisely orchestrated to touch every corner of your home, to touch every soul within, to awaken faith that has slumbered, to ignite hope that has dimmed, and to release the power that has been waiting patiently for the right moment to enter and transform everything it touches in ways that cannot be measured, explained, or contained, yet will be felt profoundly, unmistakably, and permanently, leaving a mark upon your household, upon your life, and upon the world you carry with you beyond these walls. Tonight, the favor and protection over your household are shifting in ways that you may not yet fully perceive, yet their presence is imminent, undeniable, and unstoppable. Perhaps you have prayed for relief, for safety, for blessings to rest upon those you love. Yet the answer comes not in the timing of your desire, but in the perfect orchestration of what has long been prepared. Every room in your home is a stage for this divine movement. Every wall a witness to the unfolding of favor, every doorway a passage through which protection flows. You may have felt at times that life's pressures, its dangers, its uncertainties were too great to overcome, that the burdens pressing upon your household were heavier than any strength you could summon, that the shadows surrounding your family were unyielding. But tonight, all of that is intersected by a power that cannot fail, a force that moves unseen yet tangibly, a protection that shields, a favor that lifts, a blessing that arrives in forms both expected and utterly surprising. It may begin subtly, a sudden ease in tension, a provision appearing just when it seemed impossible, a resolution of conflicts long thought permanent, a sense of peace descending into the hearts of those who dwell within your walls. And then, as the night deepens, the movement becomes more pronounced, more unmistakable, more transformative, until every area of your home is touched, every heart is stirred, every life is changed. Protection tonight is not merely a shield from harm, it is an active presence, intervening in circumstances, redirecting outcomes, turning what could have been calamity into triumph, turning what seemed lost into restored, turning fear into confidence, chaos into order, and weakness into strength. Favor does not arrive by chance, it is the alignment of circumstances, the opening of doors that have long been closed, the appearance of opportunities that no one could have foreseen, the granting of insight and wisdom that directs the steps of those who dwell within. And as favor and protection move together, intertwined, they create a household fortified in every sense, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. No situation is too entrenched, no challenge too overwhelming, no darkness too deep to be touched by this divine orchestration. It flows into the smallest details, the conversations you have, the decisions you make, the interactions between family members, the unseen connections to resources, solutions, and people that appear just when they are most needed. Every blessing carries with it a purpose. Every act of protection a design. Every shift of favor a manifestation of divine will intersecting with the ordinary patterns of life. Tonight, you may witness the release of burdens you have carried silently, the lifting of fears that have whispered in the quiet of the night, the transformation of tension into joy, doubt into certainty, struggle into provision. And while the movement is tangible in its effects, its source remains unseen. A reminder that there are forces at work in your household beyond human comprehension, forces that respond not to human merit, but to divine timing, forces that act in alignment with eternal wisdom, forces that cannot be stopped by circumstance, by opposition, by disbelief, or by delay. And so your home tonight becomes more than a dwelling. It becomes a sanctuary, a place of encounter, a realm where favor is poured out, where protection is enacted, where divine intervention touches the ordinary and turns it into extraordinary. As each member of your household experiences these shifts, whether in ways obvious or subtle, they will begin to sense a new rhythm, a new alignment, a new sense of hope and confidence that has been absent, a revelation that what has been feared, what has been lost, what has been uncertain is now intersected by the perfect timing of what has been promised all along. And it is not just the immediate outcomes that matter. It is the establishment of a pattern of blessing and protection that will echo beyond this night, that will touch the days to come, that will influence generations, that will mark your household with a signature of divine care, favor, and preservation. This is not a fleeting moment, a passing relief, or a temporary reprieve. It is the beginning of a new season, a realignment of the household's destiny with a power that is faithful, relentless, and victorious. Every element of your home, every member of your family, every hidden corner, every unseen detail is included in this movement. The favor that arrives is not superficial, it is deep, penetrating, transformative. The protection that moves is not passive, it is active, vigilant, encompassing, and unyielding. And as the night unfolds, you will witness the intersection of divine timing, divine strategy, and divine care converging upon your household, reshaping it, reaffirming it, securing it in ways that cannot be fully measured or articulated, yet will be felt with clarity, power, and unmistakable certainty in the lives of all who dwell within, in ways that mark this night as extraordinary, historic, and forever memorable in the story of your household, as the moment when favor and protection descended, took hold, and began to transform everything in their path. Tonight, the unseen doors of possibility are opening in your home, doors that have been hidden, overlooked, or blocked for far too long, doors that lead to encounters, opportunities, and transformations beyond what you have dared to imagine. Every moment that has passed, every challenge endured, every prayer whispered in silence, every hope that seemed deferred, all of it has been preparing the way for what is now approaching. And as the night deepens, a remarkable truth will become undeniable: that belief, that faith, that alignment of heart and mind with the divine is the key to unlocking what has been patiently waiting to enter your household. It is not enough to merely wish or hope, or even to pray without engagement. The mind, the heart, and the spirit must open in readiness, must align with the invisible currents of power that move where they will, must be willing to see beyond the ordinary, beyond the surface, beyond the limits of human understanding. Because what is about to unfold is not merely circumstantial, it is transformational. It will touch your relationships, your daily routines, your sense of peace, your hope for the future, your ability to act and respond in ways that reflect wisdom, courage, and clarity. And it will not come in isolation. It will move through the very fabric of your household, changing dynamics, restoring what has been broken, releasing what has been bound, illuminating paths that have been hidden, and opening new avenues of blessing, provision, and opportunity. Tonight, the power of faith will intersect with the power of the unseen, producing results that defy explanation, that cannot be predicted by human reasoning, that arrive precisely when they are needed most. And in the midst of this movement, you may feel a stirring in your heart, a clarity in your mind, a peace in your spirit that signals the presence of forces at work beyond the walls, beyond the ordinary flow of time, beyond what you have ever known before. It is an awakening, a revelation, a calling to recognize that the divine is not distant, is not passive, is not waiting for permission. It is active, moving, orchestrating, aligning, and preparing to intervene in ways that will change the course of your household forever. And the unlocking that takes place tonight is not limited to tangible outcomes alone. It is also the unlocking of hearts, of attitudes, of understanding, of perception. It is the removal of barriers that have prevented you from seeing the sacred in the ordinary, the recognition of blessings that have been present but unnoticed, the ability to receive what has long been offered but rejected in doubt or fear. Tonight, faith becomes more than belief. It becomes a conduit through which the extraordinary enters the everyday, transforming not only what is around you but what is within you. And as each member of your household engages with this movement, as hearts open, minds awaken, and spirits respond, a wave of renewal, restoration, and revelation will sweep through your home, touching every corner, filling every space, and leaving a mark that cannot be erased. This is the night when doors that were closed will open, when paths that were blocked will clear, when blessings that were distant will arrive, when understanding that was obscured will shine with clarity, when provision that was delayed will flow with abundance, when protection that seemed insufficient will surround, and when faith that was tested will be strengthened beyond measure. And all of it, depends on the willingness to see, to believe, to receive, and to act in alignment with the divine presence that has been patiently moving, patiently waiting, patiently preparing, and is now poised to manifest, to break through, to enter, and to transform everything it touches in ways that are undeniable, unmistakable, and unforgettable, as tonight becomes the night when the ordinary becomes extraordinary, the unseen becomes seen, the impossible becomes possible, and your household becomes a vessel for miracles that were long promised, long expected, and long overdue.